Welcome to Dilki Recipes, your source of balanced, validated, research-based, and culturally informed support for you and your Desi family in America. I'm Dr. Sheeza Mohsin, relationship expert and coach, and your virtual coach on life and relationships. My work in practice is a hybrid model of Eastern and Western models of psychological health for you and your relationships, so it can help support your bicultural identity. I'm hoping to share information, resources, sanity checks with you over time through these videos, reels, podcasts, wherever your preferred way of consuming this information is as you drive around, do chores, or are taking a break from work. One of the main reasons is to help you realize you're not alone in this journey. So, if you're a Desi with cultural roots in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and surrounding areas, trying to meet your life and relationship needs and desires while embracing some beautiful elements of your cultural heritage, Dilki Recipes is for you. All right. Hello, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for being here and making Dilki Recipe episodes a part of your weekly self-care and learning ritual. You know, there's a lot of commonalities in our lives, relationship, joys, struggles. My hope is that this material will help expand your perspective and give you some clarity on how to think about things, ultimately making you feel better and a little bit sorted about life and relationships. For more information, check out dilkirecipes.com and get on the list to be informed of upcoming webinars and workshops. My book, Behind Closed Doors, is available on Amazon in Kindle as well as in paperback format. Order your copy today. And of course, please remember to send your questions about relationships to info@dilkirecipes.com. And I'll try my best to make a video and post a response as soon as possible. Because if you're thinking about it, then there are many others as well who may not be as proactive as you about connecting with me. So let's jump right into this episode. It's about the 7 things to be cautious about as you expose your mind to social media consumption. Time and time again, the last 5 years or so, social media has become really present in our lives. My clients will come to me and they'll ask me why I'm not on social media. I'm very vigilant about the media they're consuming because they'll send me reels and TikToks that they're watching and they're like, Dr. Sheeza, is this valid? Does this make sense? And of course, I'll give my perspective and so forth, and we'll have a back and forth. And I thought maybe it's time, because I'm telling them certain things about social media consumption, to be a little wary of all the stuff you are consuming. Now, please note disclaimer, because there are so many experts out there, and this is not a criticism to any information out there. I'm a big fan of abundance mentality. So if it's working for you, absolutely consume it. But there are certain things you may want to keep in mind that may make you a very intentional consumer. Because remember, in so many ways, you're programming your mind a certain way when you listen to this stuff or watch these videos and reels. And then when we start thinking about things a certain way, we'll start behaving and acting a certain way as well. So it's important to be mindful. So here goes 7 things. The first thing to be cautious about when you are consuming social media is just because it's social media and it's on there, it doesn't mean it's valid, true, relevant. Not everything you're watching or listening to might be valid. It may be the speaker's own perspective. They may have a life experience that they're sharing with you that might resonate with you. And there may be a mix-up of information, especially if they're not a counselor, a therapist, psychologist, or mental health professional. So I'm just limiting this to information on life, relationship, as well as mental health information. So keep in mind that it may or may not be valid. And again, if it's benefiting you, I understand, but just be mindful. The second thing that is probably the most important thing you will get out of this episode is you have to know something really important. And I think a lot of us know this. The media, in my view, is designed to feed your bias. So basically, search engine optimization and all of these very, very techie things feed you material that basically confirms for you what you're already thinking. So if I have declared and I've done a few searches on social media that I'm looking for a black umbrella, well, that's what it'll keep showing me, all kinds of black umbrellas. And it will not show me any other color because it knows that I have a higher chance of buying that black umbrella. So when you listen to or hear something, when you are feeling a certain way, you have to remember that this could be feeding your bias. Also, something to know about emotions, guys. Emotions may not be, and feelings may not be permanent. Sometimes you will feel intensely, especially when you've had a spat with a loved one, or if you have had an argument or disappointment with your partner, your parent, or a sibling, or a really good friend. Give yourself 48 to 72 hours to cool down. I will highly recommend that because how you start feeling changes in those 2 to 3 days when you calm down, when your emotions are not high, when there's so much stress hormone not swimming in your mind. You will have a lot more clarity on how you really feel. And so I encourage my clients a lot to make sure that they're noticing their feelings as they're consuming this. Point number 3, as you are consuming social media, relationships are not perfect. People in them are not perfect. So you have to remember that contrary to popular belief, contrary to Bollywood, and contrary to how Shah Rukh Khan shows up in romantic relationships, as a mental health professional, I'm telling you, relationships are not perfect. People are not perfect and cannot be expected to be the best version of themselves all the time. So if your partner, your sibling, your friend, your parent is showing up for you 70 to 80% of the time, that's pretty good. And again, no, and this is a disclaimer that I'm not talking about severe situations. So I'm talking about mainstream people. I'm not talking about intensities of physical abuse, safety, other things that may play a role. But please know that it's very important to not judge your partner, your loved one, in the moment when they're really vulnerable, upset, or they burst out or lashed out. It may not serve your relationship well. It may not be the best way and the best time to judge them because it's not going to serve your relationship well, right? When we are judging a loved one in the worst moment that they're in, we're not being fair because that's kind of like the halo effect, right? We're looking at them in their worst element. All right, number 4, something to keep in mind when you look at a reel or a clip. I really want you to think about this one because remember, I work in the relationship realm. You want to know, is this helping my relationship or is this hurting my relationship? Because remember, when we feel negatively towards somebody and we are having, it's like when you talk to a friend about your partner that you're so mad at. All your friend can do is really support you because they don't know your partner's perspective, right? They don't know how you may have contributed to the situation. So it's really important that you remember that if this is making you feel negative about your relationship and reinforcing doubt and negativity, that you want to make sure that you are cautious and think again about that material. It may really serve you well because you're feeling terrible. So when we feel terrible, we like hearing things that confirm that feeling terrible is the best way to go. That may not be the reality. So, I tell my clients who are married couples all the time, be aware of your friends that may be saying negative things about your partner because that is hurting your relationship. It's planting negative seeds. And again, I'm not talking about extreme situations, but by and large, you want to be careful. Number 5, not everything you listen to or watch applies to you, your family, or your relationship. Remember, there's a lot of social media that could be about intense experiences, trauma-affected experiences. The rules change when your situation is different. So don't listen to things that are out of context. So for example, if somebody is saying to you to really be forgiving of your partner, which is a positive thing, but you have experienced infidelity, it'll be really difficult. If somebody is giving you advice on marriage, but this is your second marriage or your third marriage, your experience will be different. If somebody is talking about how children need to listen, but you have grown-up kids who have independent minds of their own, different. So please remember the context of things. Number 6, when a person disappoints you or a relationship disappoints you, be kind to yourself and then choose grace. This is really important because when somebody disappoints us, we are looking at social media to really affirm how we're feeling. That's completely okay. You can sit with that discomfort. You have to make sure you cry it out. You feel how you're feeling. Give yourself a little bit of time. And then what I would love for you to consider doing is, if that relationship is important, I would like you to think of the 10 good things that this relationship has brought to you. Yes, this one in particular may not be great. Again, the 80-20 rule. And when we feel bad, the halo effect takes over. So we're just thinking of this negative incidents and we lose perspective. So remember, it's all right. You have to be kind to yourself, but then choose grace and have perspective. Number 7, and the most important thing that I will tell you in terms of consuming social media that you could consume in abundance, consume humor, consume the comedians, the funny memes, the reels, the happy stuff. It would be lovely, and it actually can create so many positive moments in your life. It encourages serotonin release in your brain. You feel good, you feel happy. It's really important that you think about the positive side of social media. So music and funnies are just fantastic, and you can absolutely consume them as much as you would like. This is why it's important to keep learning. I'm hoping you find this material helpful in protecting your mind and what you are exposing to it. And in this way, you protect your relationships. Keep learning. Keep finding new and better ways of communicating in your relationships so they can be better. This is all I have for now. Thank you so much for joining me. Some important things to remember. Every situation is different. Issues and challenges in our life are not solved overnight. You have to remember to be kind to yourself. When you know better, you do better. Remember something to be grateful for and plan to find a reason to laugh. I hope you keep learning and growing with me. Remember to subscribe and follow me on your favorite social media platform. Wishing you peace and talk to you soon.